All right, good morning and welcome in here on this Wednesday morning as we are making it through the week here, getting ready for SEC Media Days next week. Lloyd, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Good to see you once again. Appreciate everybody joining us here as we're getting back in the groove of things. Yesterday was funny. I left. And I was like, it didn't feel like we were back in the groove just yet.
Yeah, it takes time.
Got to get back into it. So we getting it rolling here as attention has turned to football.
Yeah, I get my prescription today.
Oh, yeah?
That's when things always start to look up for 30 days to 28 days, and then I have the bleak 5 days where I didn't allocate my medicine correctly.
Right. And you got to figure out how to make it work.
Yes.
I remember the
suck dick behind the movie theater.
The handful of days in Omaha.
Yes.
That you were without your medicine.
Sleepy.
And, we were without Lloyd those days. So, hope you get your prescription, Lloyd. I'm
Thank
excited.
You. Oh, I got it.
I'm excited for the next 30 days.
These people at the CVS. So, I drop it off on, we're in July. It was what's the month before that? March, April, May, June. Probably like June 30th when it was like, that's the day, right? Drop it off, they fill it. This one is, they don't have the medicine. Okay, fine. So then I wait. July 3rd, they said it's going to be ready tomorrow. Guess what July 4th is? Closed.
Of course.
And so then I get back in town, go to it, they say that it's expired. You have to go back to your doctor and get another prescription. Like,
that's y'all's fault.
That's on y'all.
Yeah.
I didn't get mad because there's
Right.
nothing you can do about it. I was like, okay,
Right.
so I call my doctor, go get another prescription. This is at 8:45 last night. Race against the clock to get back to CVS because they close at 9:03. Don't get it in time. So now I have to go this morning. And then I will be upset if anything. If one thing goes.
If you say anything other than "here you go, have a nice day,"
I'm gonna look like the Joker leaving there.
What a roller coaster! You know how I got these scars?
Yeah, you're gonna get these scars.
But I hope it works out for you for the sake of all of us.
Yeah. And Mikey, he always gets on me. He's like, I can tell you don't have it. He's like, yeah, I know.
That's
I
hilarious.
can tell too.
Yeah, I mean
6 o'clock at night, tired.
Yeah, I'm falling
Or
out.
I'm wired.
Yeah, or I'm locked in.
Mm-hmm.
But
I hit that recruiting trail.
Yes. But yeah, I hope it works out for you.
Thank you.
So we'll see. I guess we'll find out tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you tune in. Some of the headlines for today: LSU football announced yesterday the 3 Tigers that will be headed to Media Days with Brian Kelly as LSU takes a stand on Monday, which has been their regular spot the last couple of years, where they've been that first team or that first day of Media Days. It will be Garrett Nussmeier, Chris Hilton, and Whit Weeks. I don't think Nuss and Whit were surprises at all. I think that was pretty obvious. You had a feeling you were going to go send those 2 guys. Like we've discussed the last couple of shows, the potential number 18 jersey reveal. Offensively, we can't really think of anyone other than Nuss that would kind of fit that criteria and rock the number. We'll see if that ends up happening. And then when we think about it defensively, there are a handful of options, but the leader in the clubhouse would probably be that guy, number 40, at the top of that graphic, as Whit Weeks is pretty clearly the vocal leader of that defense, along with some others, but Whit. And then I think the biggest surprise was the conversation around who's going to be the 3rd guy. Last season it was Nuss, Mason Taylor, and Harold Perkins, and I think Perk was the one that caught everyone by surprise because he was a quieter guy, not really out in the media, didn't do a bunch of interviews and speak all that much, and I thought he crushed it, and it was good to see them kind of send Perk to represent the new era of the defense and get him kind of rolling media-wise because it was going to be a big season for him. Unfortunately, got hurt. Now that season will be this year. But I think the storyline is very similar for Hilton, as it's going to be a very, very important season for him and important for him for LSU to have success. So those will be the 3 headed to Atlanta. We will get into that as the show rolls on this morning. Big 12 media days are going on right now. And something else we'll discuss later on in the show is Mr. Joey Maguire, the Texas Tech head coach, who had something to say at the Big 12 media days. And I don't think it was any sort of diss or call out, really. Now, whenever you just post the quote of, I'd love to play LSU in a home-and-home series, it could come off that way. But whenever I listen to him say it, and when you take in the context into account of what was being spoken about at media days, I don't think it was any ill will towards LSU. It was more of just kind of, let's hash it out on the field. If we're talking about college football playoff, do you have the clip, Lloyd? So here is Joey Maguire.
I know you said it a couple years ago to where we all of a sudden now have cross-conference games that we're playing each other. I think that'd be a great way to do it. You know, I saw Brian Kelly say he'd love to play a Big 10 team. Hey, man, I would love to play LSU, home-and-home series, and whoever plays that, then, we look at the rankings and everything like that. Coach.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just the discussion around, Brian Kelly talking about wanting to play Big Ten schools and all these out-of-conference matchups to kind of figure out how to structure the college football playoff. It'll be interesting to see how many of these matchups actually come to fruition as the seasons roll on. Next up in the headlines, our guy has made headlines once again. Little big brother Pearson. John Pearson just showing off the swing. We played it about 10 times yesterday on the show, him hitting a double in what looked like some pajamas. And now he's stepping back up to the plate and just swinging balls over the fence, making it look easy. And it's really just kind of taken the Twitter world by storm. Every single LSU offseason baseball clip is just John Pearson
murdering
turning
baseballs.
on baseballs.
1-0. Pearson swung at, hit into right center field. Bechtel's going back, baby, that one's gone.
Oh, I like the call.
Yeah, great call.
Pearson,
Baby, that one's gone.
As a member of the lacrosse
Baby Pearson.
Warriors. And lacrosse
Go ahead and trot around these
has the
bases.
lead here at the bottom of the first, 2-0. Pearson swung at, hit into right.
Yeah, I mean, that is a swing.
I watched his West Monroe 8th grade highlights, and dude, Buddy's an athlete. He was playing quarterback, tight end, running back. They put him on defense. He murdered some kid. They stopped the game. Whenever he was playing like a middle linebacker, and he splits the gap. This poor kid is not big enough to be playing football, and I think he realized it like 30 milliseconds after.
Right.
Pearson splits the gap. He steps up to try to fill the hole, and he just and knocks him over. And the referee just comes in and stops the game. Like, oh God! Like, then he didn't have the ball. They're just like, that sounded awful. Yeah. And Pearson just looks at it and is like, I guess I can't play football anymore.
Sorry.
But he's a stud. Like, we were in Omaha, and like, there are some guys that were watching him take ground balls at third. Like, what's he doing over there? And I was like, buddy, he's an athlete. And even if you don't think he can play defense, he can, because he played like outfield at West Monroe too. Like, he can move.
He's not just a bat.
No, but even if he was just a bat, the bat's good enough to be just a bat.
Yes.
But more of an athlete than you think.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you heard, I think it was Josh Jordan talking about it with John Eads, where he said that he thinks John Pearson can have a similar development to, at third base, kind of like Tommy White.
Yep.
Like, Tommy White was not this, because we had just gotten out of the Jacob Berry experiment at third base. And so you bring Tommy White in, he gets put at third base again, so it's kind of like, okay, wait, timeout. Is third base just the placeholder for a bat?
It's just an extra DH.
And Tommy White turns into, like, his last year at LSU 2024 was like a really good defensive third baseman. Like, he wasn't bad in 23 whatsoever, but in 24 he was like a consistent glove and made it look routine consistently.
Because I think that was a question mark for kind of everyone going into that position change. Like, everybody knew what he could do offensively. Like, he was
Right.
Tommy Tanks. What he hit, like 24 as a freshman. Comes to LSU, and you laid it out perfectly. Like, the Jacob Berry experiment was like, he has to play somewhere, and you put him at third. He was a defensive liability, but the bat played.
Right.
And then Tommy White, you could see the athleticism was a little bit different. That he took that next step to. He's like, he's a plus defender.
Yeah.
And that helped him get drafted, where people are like, all right, I'm not just drafting a bat. I'm
Yes.
drafting somebody that can play defensively, play third base for you every day. Pearson is somebody that can probably do the same thing. Once you saw him. I just don't think anybody had seen him do it yet, and how consistently they're working him over at third, even though he wasn't going to play it, I think shows you what their idea is for what he's going to do next year.
They want to keep – this is the thing I love about Jay and LSU baseball is all options are open. Like, he's bringing in these recruits, these transfers that will place – like Dardar, he played – he said he could play second, third, first, outfield – DH, wherever. Simpson from High Point, I think he can play third. He can play first. He could DH. You're going to have Pearson who can play third, who can he wants to keep all the options open. It'll be interesting to see kind of how it shakes out moving towards the season.
Competition.
I love it. I love it because competition will breed much more success for LSU as it has consistently under Jay Johnson's ruling over LSU baseball. Josh Newberg over at On 3 had Steve Wiltfong discuss the Lamar Brown recruitment, and we actually have about a minute and a half clip of Wiltfong discussing Lamar Brown and putting in his prediction for who will get the commitment, but what else is in store when it comes to that recruitment of the number one player in the state of Louisiana.
Number one athlete at 285 pounds, jumbo athlete, and certainly a ferocious defensive lineman. That programs see as a guy that can play inside out, multiple techniques across the line of scrimmage. My rival's predictions on LSU, it's been there for a while, but certainly Texas A&M has been out in front in this recruitment. He's visited there several times. That's the coaching staff he says has recruited him the hardest, that he knows the best. Coach Sean Spencer, Coach Gerard Eady. Look, the Aggies have the number 3 class in the country. They have a chance to finish number 1 this cycle. They need Lamar Brown to get there. You're not recruiting the number 1 class in the country without the resources off the field. We know Texas A&M is a program that has a lot of support and financial backing to allow them to win so many blue chip battles. They're in it for Lamar Brown. They have the resources to win on that front, but they also do a great job, like Oregon, connecting with their top targets. Mike Elko's a good head coach recruiter. Tony Gerard Eady and Sean Spencer recruiting together on the trail. Did you see the Bad Boys tweet that they put out after they won out over the weekend for Bryce Perry Wright? Those guys have good chemistry. Recruits feel that when they come to College Station. Lamar Brown knows how loved he is at Texas A&M. So they're very much in it. But LSU, their scheme he likes, called Coach Kelly a great coach. It's close to home, playing for State U. My intel still favors LSU.
State U, baby.
Playing for State U. Yeah, I mean, look.
Sounds like a movie. like you don't have the license right.
State U and State Tech.
Yeah.
State U and Tech U facing off here on a Friday night.
Number one.
Look, I mean, Lamar Brown is the number 1 player in Louisiana, and for a reason. I mean, if you sat and watched those clips of him playing against Parkview and Dunham and whoever else, Lloyd was getting fed up.
I mean, how much time do we need back here, Coach? I mean, Jesus Christ. To get rid of it. Throw the football.
I mean, I tell you what, if you just focus on the right tackle right here, Lamar is stonewalling this guy.
It's like, I mean, you reward the kid. Good Lord. But, I mean, we got 1 Mississippi.
Ready? You ready right here?
2 Mississippi.
Get some.
3 Mississippi. 4 Mississippi. 5 Mississippi. Get rid of it. Just
the biggest thing for me when it comes to Lamar, where is he like? Is he gonna play? Is he gonna be Travis Hunter? Is he gonna play both sides? Because he's a problem on the defensive line as well. I mean, you saw some of the clips of him obviously being a brick wall at tackle, but I remember we were going to the U High Catholic game last year for, I think it might have been week 1 or week 2. for our high school football coverage, and I was walking with Sam, Silent Sam, and Sam was like, "Which one's Lamar Brown?" I said, "Buddy, just
You'll
wait."
know.
I said, "You will know which one Lamar Brown is," and then the team starts walking this way, and you just see like a handful of guys, just like some bigger offensive linemen, but they look like normal guys. And then there's one, you're like, and he goes, "Is it 55?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, Sam, it is.
Well, he looks a little different, huh? So it'll be interesting to see that, to continue to watch that recruitment kind of play out. Texas A&M, obviously, if you heard Wilt Fong, and I don't think that's a surprise to anybody, is the team to watch out for. They kind of lock in on Louisiana kids a couple of years, where they just find a couple of guys each year that they are focused on. Keelan Moses was one of them. They made a strong push on him. I remember Shelton Sampson. It felt like A&M was the team for LSU to beat, and they ended up winning the recruitment. But then, like Jacoby Matthews, they end up winning that one. Like when A&M finds some of these gems in in Louisiana, they focus in. And right now it seems like it's a battle between those two for the number one player in the state. And if you're LSU, you do not want to see him leave, especially a guy that plays those two positions for LSU right now, offensive line and defensive line, wherever the Tigers plan to use him. Next up on the headlines, I'm not sure if anyone saw it, some sad news coming out from LSU yesterday as strength and conditioning coach Katie Guillory was involved in a 4th of July jet ski accident and had her leg amputated. Just very, very sad news that came out. Yesterday? I think it was put out. I saw WBRZ report on it. The Karen Crow native is an assistant strength and conditioning coach at LSU for beach volleyball and gymnastics. Everything other than, she is stable otherwise, her mother said. Just very, very sad news and continued prayers to Coach Guillory and the rest of her family and what was just very, very rough to hear yesterday. So continue to pray for her recovery, and her family and everything else involved over there. I did see also on Twitter yesterday, No Chill Sports put out something that I don't really want to get in too much today, but I think it's something interesting to kind of look at and hold on to for future reference. Something called the Talent Matrix that they used, and it's got all the 4 major conferences, but if you look at just the SEC specifically, you can see different things like returning offensive starters, defensive starters, the blue chip percentage, talent level, strength of schedule, and then where that win total lies. Obviously, LSU sits in a pretty good position in all of those things. So if it's green on your blue chip percentage, that means it is a strength. If it's red, it's a weakness. Obviously, you see Arkansas low there with 12.5. LSU is green, not the highest, as you see like Georgia and Alabama are up in the 80s. LSU's at 65. And then if your talent level is blue, that means you have elite talent. So LSU's in that mix as well. If your strength of schedule is yellow, which the entire SEC is yellow, that means that you have a tough road. If it would have been brown, that means your schedule is light work, according to them. But it's interesting to see them compare to the other conferences. But the one thing for LSU is the returning offensive and defensive starters. Like, look at that. I mean, the Big 12 schedule, they have blue chip ratio is low all throughout the conference. I mean, Cincinnati has a 0, Utah 0,
Kansas
Oklahoma
0,
State 0. Like, the strength of schedule, Big 10, obviously there's a handful of them, but like Ohio State, but then like ACC, some brown strength of schedules. Like, it's just
there's not that many good teams in college football.
Well, it's crazy when you compare them and then you look at the SEC. Like, look at the strength of schedule on all 4 of them. So go back to ACC. You've got brown and gray. You've got 1 yellow. So, like, 1 top 20 strength of schedule, and that's who Syracuse has to play. Shout out Ricky Collins.
Yeah.
And then you scroll over to the next one, and you've got 3, Wisconsin, UCLA, and Ohio State. And then into the Big 12, none. Not a single top 20 strength of schedule. And then you go to the SEC and
every one of them.
And that just shows you the power dynamic, and that's what makes SEC bias. Like this right here kind of takes away the argument of SEC bias because it's just the best conference in football.
Well, this is why the coaches are having like the conversation of trying to change the criterion for the college football playoff. It's because our wins are harder to get than your wins.
Right.
Like it shouldn't just be record based. It should be like there should be maybe an allocation of certain amount of spots because of how much harder the schedule is and how much harder the SEC is. At some point, that should bear weight. And I think it probably is it bad for college football? Is it good for college football? I don't know. But I do know that it's not necessarily fair. It's kind of like the same conversation you had about like reseeding Omaha.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this has never really come up before, but I could see why it holds some merit as to why you'd want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked to Jake Brown, and he was like, I wanted them to reseed it because you have the two best teams. We know we're the two best teams. He's like, no shade to Coastal, whatever.
It's pretty obvious.
But we are the two best teams we have to play immediately. It's like you kind of want that on the other side of it to where you can be like, I want that matchup. Like, I want this to be for the national championship.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to retrain your brain like it is for national championship, but it's not. Like, I wanted us to play last. And from that perspective, like then you look at college football and you see like they want a certain amount of spots. It's because every team in your conference is playing a top 20 schedule.
Yeah.
And then you look at every other conference. Like, why do y'all like you played Arizona and BYU and UCLA, and it's like it doesn't make much sense. But you go 10-1, it's like okay, here's your spot.
Right.
And
I mean,
get your shit kicked in.
That was the argument with kind of the Big Ten last year of like Penn State, I would say, where you looked at their schedule, there wasn't really anything all that impressive outside of the matchup against Ohio State, which they lost.
Right.
And so, okay, they have one loss. Are they a top 12 team? Maybe. But are they a top 5 team? Probably not. But their record looks like it because the strength of schedule isn't quite as high. So that's where this discussion comes from of playing these out-of-conference games because you need some sort of comparison to represent against one another because the SEC schedule is different. Like it just is. It's going 10-2 in the SEC is not the same as going 10-2 with a Big Ten schedule because the teams are just better. The competition is higher. So
Penn State 27th strength of schedule according to these metrics.
Right. So I mean, like their 10-2 is going to be different than, say Alabama goes 10-2. They have the 10th highest strength of schedule, or Georgia, who's 8th, LSU 11th, Ole Miss 16th. Go down the list. Texas has the 4th highest strength of schedule. A lot to do with that Week 1 matchup against Ohio State, which is out of conference, and those are the type of matchups. And it's also the type of matchups that college football would want. Just like I think it would be good for college baseball. Like I don't think college baseball and the TV are the ones that are saying let's not reseed Omaha because I bet you like ESPN would have loved to have Arkansas LSU in the national championship at the end of it all because the numbers would have been outstanding. So we'll see what sort of rulings and changes are made. Into the 2 claps this morning, sit back and watch Caleb Jackson in the weight room. These are some of they put out some content from the weight room. We'll show the Don McKinley clip as well as LSU's showing off the strength of this football program right now as Don McKinley power cleaned 396, and then now you've got Caleb Jackson on the bench press with all eyes on him. Sit back and enjoy this. Something about the energy, man. Like it just feels different. Like I mean, Bo Bordelon is in his face. The second he sits up from that bench, firing him up, they're all around him, slapping the back. A little in baseball, what do they call that? A little velo slap. Slapping the back, got the smelling salts. The energy is high. That's watching that in the morning will get you fired up, ready for the day. And then you get to sit back and watch Don McKinley make 400 pounds look like it's nothing on the power clean after you watch Caleb Jackson move however much was on
I was
that bar.
about to say, how much was on there?
I don't know, but it was. I mean, it wasn't a little amount of weight, and Caleb Jackson is a unit.
Strong man.
Like, it is a strong man.
Speaking of strong,
This right here,
this is freaky.
like scary.
It's a car.
I mean, dude, easy. My favorite part is look who that is right to his right.
That's Bert.
The second it's done.
Oh my God.
I mean, that was easy, dude. Like 396 moving like it was the bar.
Yeah, that. We could get to 400 real easy.
I mean, 450. Because I mean, like he didn't struggle a second.
No.
He got it up over and then stood up like it was nothing.
I mean, he could have dropped down into a squat.
Like that was
Olympic power clean. Well, that's what's so intoxicating about Don McKinley. Like you've seen flashes of it, and whenever he if he wants to, and if he decides like I'm going to be a professional football player and he wants to go full tilt, he's
got the tools to
19
go.
years old, power cleaning 400 pounds with ease. Like once the light bulb goes on completely, he's going to be you saw it at the end of the year.
That's a top 5 pick.
Yes.
Like he's a monster.
Once that thing goes on for real,
Yeah.
he's going to be a problem.
No, I mean, and speaking of that defensive line and one of his other, we've got Ahmad Bro will be in studio. You'll get to hear him talk about this team, guys like Don McKinley, Sadir Mitchell, guys on the line with him. But, I mean, like, Dominic McKinley, there's a reason why LSU pushed as hard as they did to make sure Texas A&M didn't steal him. Because, I mean, that's a position of need, and this is a guy where it was like last season kind of had to wait it out, see if it could all kind of come together. The tools are there. There's a reason he was a 5-star, number 1 player in the state of Louisiana. And now you're seeing like the physicality part add where he's power cleaning 400 pounds like it's a feather. And if he can just put it all together, I mean, that is special potential for LSU. So 2 claps to the LSU strength and conditioning program, the social media people as they're getting these clips out, and then Caleb Jackson and Don McKinley for being monsters. 2 claps. Ready. On top of that, some more LSU content that came out. Barryn Brown, and from what I've heard, Barryn Brown is the funniest guy on the team. From what I've heard from people on the team, Barryn Brown's the funniest member of this team, and
I don't think that's a stretch. Considering
I don't
what
think
we've
at
seen.
all.
Even after his first video that came out when he was mic'd up, like you could see like the personality, the energy,
Yes.
everything that he was like moving around, the way he moved around on the football field. Yeah, you could see like the energy it's palpable.
Yes.
And it's something that feels infectious.
yeah, no, I mean, and then you sit back and you watch this video of him coaching the kids at the LSU camp this summer, and just the energy he has and the relationship he has with the other guys. Like, that's the part that's the most impressive to me is this team, all these transfers that have come in, it has been seamless. And a lot of it has to do with the personalities they have, but also the common goal that they have. But here's Barryn Brown just showing off all that personality.
Hey, like, black is a rookie whistle. Gold, I had to work with this, brother. Like, 3-4 camps, nothing but hard work. But, like, you want to work it as hard as me. That's the only difference. Like, to get this, like, I got coach in front of my name right now, brother. For these kids, coach. For these kids, I'm going to go beyond my effort for these kids. Like, it's a bird, it's a plane. Nah, it's still beer. Can we get that while we're doing the drill? You gotta pay for it. For real. Come on, let's get it then. Don't call me Barryn 7, 6, none of that. Coach B, Coach Brown, Coach 7, Coach 6. You know what I like to do? Watch this. You put this behind, just like the coach should be. Check me out. I look. Hey, let's start off right. No drop ball. Oh, hey, quarterback. We gonna do some push-ups too now. We ain't just out here running for fun. We trying to get paid. Let's go. You out of bounds? Touchdown, baby. Money to be made. This a win. That's the ball, boy. That's the ball right there. There we go. Woo! Tackle, bro. I'm done playing. I'm gonna tackle me something like that. I'm so sorry about over here. I know y'all got balls coming left and right. Flag, good catch. Coach Ike, get out my field. And look, throw it to me, I'm gonna show you what you do. That's you. Now throw it, let me show you how it's supposed to be. You see that? Can I get one, please? No way, if you have this camera on me, you might actually be a spy. You might actually be on Spy Kids or something. I knew it. That's crazy. You might be an FBI agent. I don't know. Where my cameraman at? Because I know he's watching me somewhere. That's crazy. Hey, give me another edit real quick. Right here. He finna give me a TikTok edit. Watch this.
What?
Y'all see me? Do Dennis Castaneda pop up like this. YK Cyrus. Ooh, YK Cyrus. He said, I'm gonna give you.
Just adds on to the conversation of the energy this team has, the vibe this team has. I mean, everything you've seen put out this offseason social media-wise, like LSU's crushed it from like a PR standpoint with the social media videos, whether it's the who's your celebrity look-alike, guess your teammates with the filter on them, Garrett Nussmeier calling saying goodnight, the weight room videos, just go down the list. They've crushed it from a PR standpoint with these social media videos, and here that was another one of just Barryn Brown showing off his personality, and maybe
you think
his
he's been on the
potential-
team for 4 years,
right? Like he got here in January,
Yeah,
and like that personality and the bond that like
you would think he's
him-
from Louisiana too.
I know,
I had to look it up. It was like, oh, Nashville, not that different,
but still different.
yeah.
But he blends in like that's part of that seamless transition is the personality and the common interest. Like that's the big thing. Is the reason this has been so seamless because they have one common goal. And Lloyd, do you know what that would be?
Championship.
They're trying to win a national championship. That's the reason Barryn Brown. He didn't come here to play in the SEC. He was at Kentucky.
Yeah, he
Could have played. He's playing against the top
played in the
competition
SEC.
already. He came here for one reason and one reason only, and that's to win. WIN.
And coach.
And coach, and maybe become the future football coach at LSU. He's got the potential. He had the papers, the play sheet tucked right in. But shout out
Gold whistle
to Barryn Brown. Shout out to the LSU social media team. 2 claps, ready. LSU baseball is the biggest brand in college baseball.
Oh, this was a hell of a graphic.
That's a surprise from anybody. But this graphic, like Lloyd just said, is probably the best one you'll see today and tomorrow. Because, I mean, first off, you're flexing that you're the biggest brand. They're letting you know that in big font. They're showing off the stats and the numbers from February 1st to July 1st, which is the season. LSU was number 1 in followers, impressions, engagement, and social value, which is an interesting addition, where the social value is 9.27 million. But the picture that was put in the background is what kind of ties it all together, where you just get to not only see that LSU is the biggest brand from a number standpoint, they're also the national champions. And it is just the flex of all flexes. It does not get any better than Louisiana State University when it comes to college baseball from every single standpoint. Not only do you get the eyes put on you from impression and engagement and followers, the social value that you generate, you also can win a national championship. And This just adds to Jay Johnson's slew of recruiting pitches where he can just throw this out there and be like, well, I mean, look, you want to get seen? You want some eyes on you? Try 281 million impressions and 9 million engagements from February 1st to July 1st.
I mean, they had Major League Baseball like basically running LSU's Twitter account, or it felt like LSU Baseball was running Major League Baseball's Twitter account because they were going hand in hand, and people were, I guess, surprised. It felt like for a little bit where it's like, oh, Major League Baseball is talking about college baseball. I don't like. Why wouldn't they?
Right.
You're starting to see this relationship kind of blossom, and when we talked to Jay about the draft, he's like, I don't know what's going on with Major League Baseball, but they're starting to pay a lot of attention to college, like whether they have to get their money up or whatever they're trying to do, but they're starting to see the fruits of college baseball as labor, and he's like, the money's a little bit different now. Like whenever you have people going to the draft, there was that amount of time like after COVID where it was like slot value and how to figure this thing out and what they were going to do with college athletics. And now it feels like it's kind of gotten back to, because of how they fast-tracked kids from college to Major League Baseball, they're not really letting them go back for another year. If you're draft eligible, they want you and they want you back. They want you in Major League Baseball. They want you in a uniform. And from LSU's standpoint, they had I would love to see the difference between, because people would point out, like, well, they were in like the media's eye for the longest amount of time because you played the most amount of games. Like, well, let's look at Coastals.
Right.
The same thing. Let's look at Arkansas.
Or we can cut out the College World Series. We can We can stop it at June 1st and just look at the regular season. If you want to compare those numbers, we can.
Nobody had more, I would say, like clippable moments. Like whether it be Bear Jones, but then when you go into like a regular season, you were 9-3 in 1-run games. You played after midnight 4 times. It was a wild season, and LSU was here for all of it.
Yes.
Then you get into Omaha, and you have. I mean,
moment after moment,
and you could point the camera anywhere.
Yes,
it's Eddie Yaman in the dugout. It's Kate Arambeedi in the dugout. It's Kate Anderson everywhere.
It's the parents.
Right. There's just so much personality that comes with the LSU baseball team that makes it special, and it's good to see, I guess, the recognition, but it's also too good to ignore.
Yeah, I mean, it is second to none.
Absolutely,
and it is first by it would be LSU baseball number 1. A whole lot of space, and then whoever else number 2.
Right.
It's not really close. So 2 claps to LSU baseball social media and the program that Jay Johnson has built. Ready. You can take the reins here on this last one.
Oh God,
Lloyd.
This is something that maybe we should start doing, but it is a testament to, I guess, getting when you're a pledge. In a fraternity, you have to kind of get your feet wet. You have to go through some steps, and I think this is something that is why T-Bob made the move to going to Barstool Sports, and I think he's still hammering away, but he started his college football journey in NCAA Football 26.
Yes.
And he is now 12 straight hours of streaming. He started at, what's the worst team in the game, like Akron or what, I forget.
Missouri State.
Somewhere. He started with the literal worst team in the game. He's 12 seasons in, and now he has worked his way to Indiana. He has not left the state, so he is still bouncing around, but no national championships. They just spent from 4:30 in the morning to 6:30 this morning. They weren't going to recruit, and they realized we're not getting anybody. He finally got, feels, I guess, at home in Indiana.
Yes.
It's like, we need to get better players. Like, dude, you have to do the recruiting part of the game or you'll never win.
Right.
And so they had big rah-rah moment, got the boys in there, and said, we're going to hammer out recruiting for 2 hours. And the chat was not happy, so you have to deal with that, as they just love to absolutely roast who's ever is playing. But T-Bob getting his feet wet, getting indoctrinated into the Barstool culture by going 12 straight hours of streaming. Then he's going straight to mostly sports from 10 to 12. And then he has macro dosing tonight. So no sleep for the boy, but if anybody's built for it, it's T-Bob.
Yes. 2 claps. Ready.
And I mean, everywhere in Omaha.
And the game is excellent.
Excellent. It's not a bad way to make a living.
No, NCAA 26. I mean, it is.
I bit the bullet.
You did, didn't you?
Quickly.
How? Like what? I need you to walk me through how it played out in your mind, and just was it last night?
It was that middle of the afternoon.
Middle of the afternoon.
We did, football was on the brain,
Yes.
I'll say. And then the Netflix quarterback came out, and I was like, oh, I could watch. Like, I watched a little bit of that,
Pop
and it's
that
like
on.
more football, and I was like, why am I even wasting my time? Like, I'm gonna buy it. Why? Let's just do this now instead of me seeing it all over Twitter, seeing T-Bob like get the stream fired up. I was like, I'm gonna play it.
Right.
And I tried to hold out, and I was like being cynical about it. I was like, it's gonna be the same game. I was like, I don't care. LSU's good.
Yes.
And
the best team in the game.
That's what really got me.
Yeah.
I saw Barryn Brown run around out there, and I was like, oh God, I want to play with that team. And so it really is LSU's fault.
Yes.
So also did the early. I paid $10 extra every day until it's released. So it's just a quick C note. I was like, well, I'm not just gonna play the. I didn't want to go through the EA whatever.
Right.
Like, then I'll just forget that, and that'll be more expensive. And now you're on a strict timeline of you're edging yourself with college football because you can't. You can only play for 10 hours.
I've got a 10-hour window that I've currently knocked about 7 hours out of.
See, I didn't want to put those time constraints on me because you're up against the clock. I'm unencumbered. I can play.
Today
I can play forever.
I've got 3 hours that I can play college football, and it comes out tomorrow, and I saved $40.
I am going to let's play online, and I'll just keep quitting every time. You just waste all of your 3 hours.
But yeah, no, I mean the game is excellent. Like it is fun. Yeah, the LSU O-line. Like if you look at the ratings on the team, I mean the team everywhere but the O-line is pretty stacked. The O-line ratings, let's see, the highest is Josh Thompson 82, DJ Chester 80, Braylon Moore 79, Mabenga and Eccles 77, Ori Williams 76, Tyree Adams 75, Weston Davis 75. The offensive line is not anything to write home about. But, hey, these ratings are dynamic.
Yes.
The hope is, hey, let the O-line be bad in the game now. We'll find out, hey, this O-line's actually pretty good on August 30th, and maybe these ratings will bump up. But everywhere else, LSU is pretty stacked. Patrick Payton's an 88. You've got Bauer Sharp at an 85. Bernard Gooden and Jacoby and Guillory are 82s, with Don McKinley and Ahmad Bro at a 79, which I think is a little bit low. Linebackers, you got Harold Perkins 91, Whit Weeks 89. Then at corner, you have Mansour Delane at a 90 and Ashton Stamps at a 91. Safeties, A.J. Halsey 88, Tamarcus Cooley 85. And then obviously the rest of your offense with Nussmeier at a 92. The sneaky move on the LSU offense is Juwan Johnson has like 97 speed.
And he's a quarterback.
And he's a quarterback. And so you can just, obviously love Nuss. Nuss is the best pocket passer in the game. If you want to get real freaky in the game, you take Nuss out, you put Juwan at quarterback, and now you've got 97 speed everywhere with him, Durham, Aaron Anderson, Barryn Brown, Xavier Thomas, Chris Hilton, Jelani Watkins. Then you've got Trades Green at tight. Like,
they're loaded.
Cheat code, bro. Cheat code. So,
well, because if you really want, and look, we said this about Juwan Johnson. Like, people were, calling us out for saying, like, taking this somewhat seriously with Juwan moving to quarterback, but you wouldn't waste an athlete like this. And what you've seen him move around already, whether it be he played defense, he's played running back. Now you move him to quarterback, and with what you saw the offense struggle with, Juwan Johnson could fix that problem relatively easily. And if you want to put packages in for Juwan, it's not that much of a stretch to think that there will be times in games where Juwan lines up at quarterback. I really do think that because of his skill set, he can still throw it,
right?
But I do think it's almost like a different version of a Taysom Hill, where it's like you have to respect the pass a little bit, but if you put him in, it's just a weapon. He can line up at any spot, line up at quarterback, and if you absolutely need a running presence at quarterback, I know Nuss is trying to take that step, and he does look fitter.
Yes.
He looks more athletic than he ever has. But
and
you just have Juwan Johnson sitting over there.
Yeah, that is a Swiss Army knife of like the highest value because he is an athlete.
And it fixes a problem.
Yes,
it makes you more dynamic offensively.
No, it could be. I would not be surprised to see that gone to in the red zone a handful of times. I don't know if it'll be week 1 against Clemson, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
No, and it'll probably be one of these things where it feels like an experiment a little bit, where you might see it once, and if it doesn't work, you shelf it for that day. But there's also an opportunity where you see it 5 times in a game, 3 times in a game, where it's like, oh, Juwan Johnson, like kind of.
It's 3rd and 3 at the 45, the plus 45. You're trying to get a first down so you can keep this drive going. Why don't we run a read option with Katie Durham and Juwan Johnson?
Make it 11-on-11 with the Louisiana's most decorated player in high school football history. Broke records that should never have been touched.
Should never have been touched.
And Yeah, so I find it hard to believe they're going to not use him, especially in the era of a transfer portal where, and you've seen LSU kind of struggle with this in years past of where are you going to put Jacoby Stevens? Like, how are you going to use him? You saw a flash, a little small second, of Dante Jackson play wide receiver in a game that doesn't exist anymore.
Derek Stingley?
Right, should have. But, like, they put Dante Jackson at wide receiver against McNeese in a game that got rained out, so nobody remembers it, but they gave him the football.
Right.
Like, that was a Les Miles special, but you've had, I mean, you can go back to Russell Shepard, of how you should have been able to use somebody. But when it comes to Juwan, like, LSU's kind of fumbled these situations before. I do think that there is intent and a plan and a purpose to use him offensively.
I mean, you saw it in the spring game.
Yeah.
Like, you saw it early. And maybe they should have told us to turn the cameras off one series prior, because I don't think they wanted that.
I think they do want it out there. Like, oh, we're going to have to prepare for this?
Yeah, because, I mean, that red zone, I mean, there was motion. You saw 2 tight end sets, 3 tight end sets, 2 quarterback sets, where Juwan comes in, pushes Nussmeier out wide, and takes the snap on a QB draw. I mean, it would be fun to watch. I mean, and you can get ready for it by using Juwan Johnson at quarterback in NCAA Football 26.
Yeah, just get used to it. Juwan Johnson, Caden Durham, Harlan Berry all in the same backfield.
With Barryn Brown, Aaron Anderson, and Chris Hilton at wide receiver.
And Xavier Thomas.
And Tradez Green.
Sprinkle in some Jelani.
And Caleb Jackson.
Yeah, why not?
You can bench press 405. Like, I mean, in the game, it really is unfair. Like, me and my buddies played it the other night, and I was like, nobody's getting LSU. We're just nobody can use them.
Right. That's what they're going to become.
Like, because if I want to use them.
But if I can't get them, nobody can.
But if I can't get them, neither can y'all. So
yeah, it's the little brother. Like,
definitely.
If you have a younger brother that you beat the brakes off of, like, you can go ahead and get LSU. Make this thing even.
Yeah, let's have some fun.
But I mean, he broke a 24-year-old record with 13,662 total yards. That just isn't all on the ground. He threw the rock too.
Yeah, I mean,
Brock Berlin. That record stood for, like I said, 24 years. I don't think anybody thought it would ever be broken. You could use him like Arch.
Yeah, I mean, like it. He's going to be used. Like, it's almost too special. Like, you would be stupid to not. So don't forget, every single day we are brought to you by our friend All About Inflatables. It is the summertime. Obviously, July 4th just passed. Birthdays, parties, all different types of things. You can get a water slide, a bounce house. Look, the water slides, it is the perfect time. They come in, they'll set it up for you in the morning. You'll get it for however long in the day. You can have it overnight, whatever. Handle all of that on the website, allaboutinflatablesds.com. They've been grinding every weekend, putting out 30, 40 inflatables. If you call 225-667-2386 or go to the website, rent your water slide to stay cool in this hot, hot summer and have some fun. Jump, slide, repeat. Allaboutinflatablesds.com. 225-667-2386. And when you call, make sure they know you heard about it on Tingle & Co. So, SEC Media Days getting kicked off on Monday. LSU will be up on that first day of Media Days. Lloyd, what was your first reaction when you heard that it was going to be Garrett Nussmeier, Whit Weeks, and Chris Hilton joining their head coach Brian Kelly at Media Days in Atlanta?
I think everybody kind of had the same reaction, like no shock, and it feels, I guess, not a far cry, but there was a time and place where LSU was like, the big conversation was, are you going to send your quarterback, because you didn't know who it was.
Right.
Now you have Nuss going back-to-back years, obviously going all the way back to, I guess, since Burrow, that it's been like, this has been a stable run of quarterback and consistent play at the position that you send your quarterback to SEC Media Days. There's not even a debate.
Right.
And I do think Nuss is a great representation of LSU. He'll do all the right things. You don't have anybody to worry about. Nothing to worry. Like, Whit Weeks, obviously amazing personality. People are going to absolutely love him. And he's going to love doing it because he's one of the rare cases of guys that, like, they don't know that they're being interviewed type deal. Like, it's that they have this energy that you're talking to the same person regardless if the camera's on or off. That's a great personality trait to have. And then I think everybody was like, oh, Chris Hilton. Because I do think whether people view this as a compliment, I guess. Like, oh, you've paid your dues, you could go to SC. I don't know if that's really the case. I think it's more of people aren't talking about you.
Right.
And you've been here a long enough time. You're one of the, if not the most electric players in the country whenever it's right. And now you've had a great offseason. You're a leader on this team. You've been, a pack leader?
Yeah.
Like, he's one of those. And so you've seen him take these consistent steps to becoming kind of like more of a household name around LSU, because he's always been the quiet, like, oh, Chris Hilton, and then everything that went on last year with the injury, like, you didn't really get to experience Chris Hilton at all. The more the conversation was like, is he going to play or not? Like,
right.
It became frustrating for people, like, if you're not going to play, then don't play, right? And that's what a lot of people were, like, conjecture around him was, like, he's not a team guy. He's just worried about his health, whatever, he's going to leave. None of that's true. Chris Hilton comes back, balls out the last 2 games that he plays in, and you saw him consistently get better, and now I think this is a moment for him to kind of step and stamp the national scene.
Yeah. No, it feels a lot like Perk last year. Where
Right.
It was like, look, obviously Harold had the highest of expectations.
He
Yeah,
choked
no,
up.
Disgusting. The highest of expectations after his freshman season. The sophomore year on that 2023 defense just didn't – his numbers, like when you look at his numbers in a vacuum, they were good numbers. Like it wasn't like he had this terrible season. It was just what everything was around him, and it wasn't as electrifying or surprising, I guess, as that freshman year. You send him to media days to make sure everyone knows, hey, this is Harold Perkins. He's going to be wearing number 7 for LSU, and he's going into his money year. Obviously, it ended up not working out with the injury, and he's back, and I think the expectations are just as high going into this year. I think it's very similar with the Chris Hilton case of, look, people are not talking about you, and a lot of the conjecture around you was negative last year with the injury. Mm-hmm. And you saw what it looked like against Oklahoma and Baylor when he's right. And what this offense looks like with a healthy Chris Hilton in it is so different than what it looked like all year, because he is an electrifying player. Like, I remember, you think back to the shootout against Ole Miss and Oxford in 23, where he catches that dig route in the final drive. Obviously, he doesn't catch the Hail Mary heave at the end. He gets the dig route and sprints you down the field in 10 seconds, if that. And then against Wisconsin in the bowl game, made big catch after big catch. It just didn't kind of work out health-wise going into the year. He broke out at the end, and to me, Chris Hilton is one of the biggest keys to success for LSU, and I think that's part of the reason why he's getting the nod, because it's like, look, if we want to go as far as we're going to go as LSU football, it's going to be with Chris Hilton on the football field. And you are a special talent, should be a huge contributor, but you're a leader on this team, and go let the country know that. And that's what this is for media days to me. It is like, make sure everyone else knows who Chris Hilton is.
Because it does feel like, even from an LSU perspective, that it hasn't been something that's been talked about. You look at all the additions, right? Like, it's Nick Anderson, it's Barryn Brown, it's all the weapons you had, it's Caden Durham coming back, it's what's Trey Green going to look at. Aaron Anderson is getting a lot of run. But if from an LSU perspective, you still have one guy that is an absolute game changer. You just haven't seen it consistently. I think this is a giving him his flowers, so to speak, of go be that dude.
Because, I'm telling you, all of the tools. I remember watching Chris Hilton play football at Zachary, play basketball at Zachary, like front row. Zachary was Central High School's rival and like, I remember sitting watching it and being like, if this guy does not go to LSU, I'm going to be very, very upset. And he commits to LSU. I remember it was him and Brian Thomas the same year, and I was like, this is going to be awesome. And obviously you saw it work out for BT, where he blossomed and became an all-timer at LSU and is obviously tearing it up in the league. Now it's Chris Hilton's turn.
Chris Hilton was the crown jewel of that class.
Yes, like special. Like, I'm telling you, if you watched him at Zachary, it was LSU cannot let this guy leave the state, because it was just it was special. And I'm so excited to see him on the field for LSU this year. And I think LSU absolutely made the right decision sending him to media days because the rest of the country needs to know what LSU has in Chris Hilton. Because I think as good as Aaron Anderson is, and he is your wide receiver one, like Aaron Anderson, your leading receiver, one of your leading receivers last year, is your wide receiver one just from a talking point standpoint going into the year. But you have the Nick Andersons, the Barryn Browns getting the run outside. I think Chris Hilton should be right up there in that conversation, and LSU will go almost as far as Chris Hilton takes them. Like, you need a healthy Chris Hilton to be the fullest potential LSU that you can be. And you saw that against Oklahoma and Baylor to close out the year last year. So I'm excited to see Chris Hilton get to announce himself and let the rest of the country know who he is. So we are rolling on into hour number 2 this morning. What you got?
It feels like you haven't really heard from him at all. You know, like
he's quiet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's kind of a quiet guy. So that's an opportunity for him to kind of get his personality out there and use the media as an opportunity to kind of get to know him a little bit. Like I'm looking through Twitter right now, like there's not a lot of people that have really even gone up and attempted to interview him. It's just kind of he's been motioning in the background, but the talent is undeniable. And I think this is a chance for, like, obviously being with Flage, like that's a sign of like, okay, maybe you're helping me make this next step and how to be like, dude, bring your personality a little bit. And you can show if you do that, LSU will wrap its arms around you.
Well, not just that. I think it's also like, look, we're preparing you for what we know is coming.
Right.
Like, you're about to have a whole lot of interviews and TV time and all of that going through this season and into the future. This is how you get the ball rolling, is you get to go to SEC Media Days, get prepared for the bright lights and the microphones and the questions and the reporters and all of that, because after you show out this year and you do post-game pressers and all of these different things during the season, and then going into the offseason that he's expecting to have, and LSU's almost saying, look, we're going to start preparing you for that now because we think you are a special enough player. We know you are a special enough player to get that acknowledgement and that recognition. This is where it starts. So we're rolling into hour number 2 this morning. We will take a quick break, reset the set, and we'll be back to start the 8 a.m. hour here on this
Jacques
Wednesday
Duceay,
morning.
8:10.
Perfect. JD, best in the biz, joining us at 8:10 this morning, and then at 8:30 you will hear from LSU defensive lineman Ahmad Bro as he talks about the offseason and previews 2025.
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, we don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's a repair, a replacement, or storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing, built on trust, backed by quality.
Coming in freshman year, got hurt. Sophomore year, got hurt. Junior year, I played behind Malik, Brian. Then last year, I feel like I was due for a breakout season. Ain't work out like that, right? So mentally, it was tough. It was challenging. I kind of lost my ways. Like, there was times where I really did think about quitting. But I really had to turn to God, and that's what he got me through that situation. And I kind of said this in an interview. I was like, you and God don't operate on the same clock. You know what I mean? Like you may have a plan, right? But it may not be his plan. You know what I mean? And it's gonna happen on his timing. So, for instance, last year, I thought I was getting due for a breakout season. He said, not yet, be patient. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. And then even when I came back, like we all know, I was struggling at first when I came back. But I had to trust in his plan, and then final 2 games popped off.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Branding at Go Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
All right, welcome back here. Hour number 2 getting underway. We will be joined by the best in the biz, the sports director over at WFB 9 Sports, Jacques Duceay, in about 5 minutes, 8:10 a.m. And then obviously Ahmad Bro in studio at 8:30 a.m. The LSU 2024 Defensive Freshman of the Year last season for the Tigers, expected to have a very, very big sophomore season on this new look LSU defense. P-Dub in the chat.
P-Dub.
Got a good feeling about this team. They have the mojo and moxie that's been lacking. Kimberly, they look legit, but I'm trying not to get my hopes up. Glimmer Fredette, I don't trust my own preseason judgments anymore. I thought the last 2 LSU teams would be good, so I'm being more cautious. I agree. Look, I thought the last 2 LSU teams would be good too, and I think they were good. Like, I don't think they were bad. Now, did they live up to expectations? No. 2023 should have won a natty. 2024 should not have won 8 football games. I think that, but the energy this year, it just feels a little bit different. Now, I'm not going to make too many judgments until fall camp gets here, but just from these social media videos and things that you've been seeing, like, it looks different. They look tight. They look close. Like, they look like a family and a team, not just a roster. But you still have to have that transpire and transfer over to the field. Like, you can't just be best buddies and win football games. You have to be able to have that chemistry on the field as well. But it does start off the field, and it seems like they have it. It seems like that energy is there, and they have the vibe, the relationship off the field. You just got to see it transfer over. And I think that's what will start, has already begun, and we'll get the first taste of it when fall camp gets here in about a month. So, but I'm with you, P-Dub. Like, I'd have a good feeling too, and I really don't want to. Like, that's the hard part, is like I'm trying everything in my willpower to convince myself, stop having good, like, stop feeling good about the season before it gets here. You know? We're like sitting back thinking about August 30th of like, am I talking myself into it again? But at the same time,
but
like,
I mean, you have to have. I mean, you know how I feel.
Yes.
this is probably the biggest test of optimism that you can have, considering like every game since 2019 you've lost to open the season. Like it becomes at some point like that's who you are, and it's delusion to think anything other than why should I even give them or LSU the time of day when it comes to a week? Why should I expect them to win? But on the other side of it, when you see all of this hype that's coming out, and I don't even know if it's hype from a national media perspective, they're starting to catch on a little bit.
Right.
But
because of the video game.
Well, yeah, not only that, but like people, it felt like didn't even realize what they had done in the transfer portal until it was all said and done. And then they go back in the transfer portal, and it's like, what else does LSU need? And you go and scoop up a safety that's probably going to start for you and another defensive line. Like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, this is not what LSU has done in the past. And so you got better again. And then you start looking at the roster. You're like, good Lord.
I know.
And so it's okay. And then you have, on top of that, the cherry on top and the flavor of the ice cream is Garrett Nussmeier.
Right,
like,
right.
The fact that he returned when he very easily could have been a day one pick.
Yeah, the second quarterback off the board.
And
like
instead he's
a
at
genuine
LSU.
Conversation.
Yes. And instead he's coming back, and he could very easily be the first overall pick. So, yeah. There's reason to be optimistic.
So so excited. Same here. I got high hopes. Like it's just, God, it really, and it just seems like those puzzle pieces are fine. Like you finally have all of them, and it's just now it's about putting them together. Like the roster, you have that puzzle piece. You have the coaching staff, the quarterback, go down the list of the puzzle piece. It seems like it's all kind of coming together, and it's hard for me to find a weakness outside of the offensive line. I guess that would be the only thing where I'm just like, okay, can they overcome that? So we'll continue the LSU football discussion. We are joined now here beginning hour number 2 by the best in the business, the sports director over at WAFB 9. Jacques Duceay joins us here this morning like he does every single Wednesday. JD, good morning. How are you?
No, I'm doing outstanding. Hopefully you're doing well. Oh, look at this. New graphics, new look. All right. I'm digging it.
Thank you, sir.
You had a good 4th of July. Looks like you were out on the beach soaking up the sun.
Yes, indeed. How was your 4th?
Oh, it was great. We went down to the Mississippi Gulf Coast for a couple of days, which is very nice. Went to Shaggy's to eat and took a boat out to Ship Island, they call it. And then a great place to be, but then we upgraded and went to Destin for a couple of days, which is just paradise. I mean, I went there as a kid growing up, and I was just joking, halfway serious. Why hasn't anyone ever built a football stadium in Destin and done a bowl game there? I think a lot of people would like to go, but yeah, we were like, what is wrong with us? We're driving into Destin on the 4th of July, and we stopped at Buc-ee's in Alabama by Mobile on the way over. I think that Buc-ee's needs to be on like the map of states. You know, Buc-ee's, Alabama, population 2,500.
Yeah, I mean the population of Buc-ee's is probably more than 2,500. I mean,
it is given day.
It is packed.
It's incredible the efficiency they roll with.
I mean, you got employees out in the parking lot with cones and directing traffic, and I mean, they just printing money. These people. I mean, these are big things to build, so I think they're expensive. But you got to love the marketing too. I mean, all they do is put that Buc-ee up on that beaver up on billboards.
74 miles away.
Yeah. 75 miles. Oh, it's Buc-ee's, I think Lafayette's getting one, which will drastically impact the Cajun vacation on to Houston, because I know how so many people, that's hey, we're going to go this way, we're going to stop at Buc-ee's. Now they're getting one in Lafayette. I think, once again, they'll be just like Chimes in Lafayette, Walk-Ons in Lafayette, Superior Grill in Lafayette. All these things are doing very well, and I think Buc-ee's is obviously will probably do the best.
So LSU announced yesterday the 3 members of the team that will be headed to SEC Media Days: Garrett Nussmeier, Whit Weeks, and Chris Hilton. What were your reactions to those three being the guys headed with Coach Kelly, and your expectations for media days next week?
Well, I think Garrett Nussmeier is a slam dunk. Your quarterback should be the face of your team. I always kind of joke with my friend Brandon Harris that it was a bad sign in 2016 when LSU was a top 5 team. He was the returning veteran quarterback, and they didn't take him to SEC media days. This would be Garrett's second straight year going to media days to represent the team. I think that's a no-brainer, especially if you're trying to get him into the Heisman Trophy discussion. He already is. He will be in the discussion, and certainly by what you see coming out of Las Vegas and whatnot. He's a great representation of LSU. He'll do a great job talking over there. Chris Hilton Jr. might be the one that's a bit of a surprise to some people because he's not that much of a talker. He's a quiet kid, but that might be LSU might be telling him a little bit, hey, to maximize your potential in terms of NIL and being a professional athlete in the future. You need to talk a little more. We need to see more of your personality. I'd kind of heard from his family that he was going to be one of the guys going, so I like it. Certainly in the past, they've taken people who were a little bit soft-spoken. They brought Harold Perkins last year, who's not doesn't talk a whole lot. I think he did okay. Ethan Posick was a guy in years past who, when we found out they were taking him, we were really surprised, and he knocked it out of the park. So, and then Whit Weeks, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I guess, that's a guy they got to take. You got to have somebody from the defensive side of the ball, his personality, the way he lights up a camera, just his all shucks nature about him. He'll be a big hit in Atlanta. So I like the 3 selections, especially in Hilton's case too. Here's a guy that's entering his 5th year, just like Garrett Nussmeier is. These are 2 5th-year guys. He's obviously had his share of ups and a lot of downs with the injuries. People love a redemption story or a guy who fights through adversity. And there's no doubt when Chris Hilton has played in football games, he's impacted those games. It's just a matter, obviously, of him playing in the 12-game regular season, getting him out there on the field consistently. And so I think he's really big to your hopes for 2025, the guy that takes the top off the defense, so to speak, that you can send deep, brings that element to the team. And so I'm rooting for him for sure. But looking forward to it. We'll drive over there on Sunday. We'll head over to Atlanta. And then, LSU always seems to lead us off in recent years on Monday. And then there's 3 other LSU opponents that same day, I believe, with South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt, I want to say. Tuesday, LSU doesn't play any of those 4 teams that are showcased. They used to, obviously, with Auburn, Mississippi State, I think, is in that group. And then you've got, I think, 3 LSU opponents on Wednesday and then 2 on Thursday to close things out.
And then just from a leadership standpoint, the 3 guys going to media days are all packed leaders for LSU. And then the rest of kind of that unit, I think there were 10 guys that LSU put out on social media the other day as packed leaders. There was a good mix of, I think Jack Piber and Bauer Sharp were on that list, where you've seen kind of these transfers have almost a seamless transition and become leaders. Talk about the leadership on this football team going into 2025.
Yeah, I think this time of year, whether you're doing a high school football preview or if you're talking about the LSU Tigers, you're going to hear people say, we like each other. We've got great team chemistry. This is the closest team I've ever been on. And all those things are great. That's what teams say this time of year. I think that in LSU's case, it's probably true. I guess the question is that leadership really gets tested when you lose a game, especially in today's modern day social media. People are always digging for drama. People are always digging to instigate online and to get people worked up. And you've got to block out the noise, as Coach O and company used to say, and just try to do your job and focus on the people in the building. But I think you've got a great team leader there in Nussmeier. He cares. He wants to do well. He loves LSU. I know that some people don't like to hear about religion, but he's big on his faith and trusting the man upstairs, and he's all the things really I think that you're looking for in a veteran quarterback. He knows his history of LSU football. He wears number 13. I joked with him about I think the only other quarterback in my lifetime that's wore 13 is Tommy Hotson, and he's like, oh yeah, I know Tommy Hotson, and started talking about the earthquake game and some other stuff. So. That's going back 40 years. Hotson's first year starting was 1986. So, I think it starts with him. And I think, these guys, like you talked about, Battle Sharp, I really enjoyed interviewing him back during the spring. He's a guy that played at Southeastern, Hammond America for a few years before going to Oklahoma. And that really makes a difference. In Coach Kelly's first year, here at LSU, when they beat Alabama on the 2-point conversion, went to the SEC championship game, and really exceeded all expectations, they hit on guys in the portal, not only as players but as people. I mean, Jacques Bernard Converse comes to mind, Mekhi Gardner. There were a lot of, your Miles Frazier, who just finished his career. Eventually, God rest his soul, Kyron Lacey was a guy that came in, caught passes, caught touchdowns. But in the second year, your Deuce Chestnuts, your Denver Harrises were terrible in terms of team chemistry and contributing to the team and putting themselves before the team. So I think that's important. I think that they've done a good job identifying their needs, and I think that that's why you hear Brian Kelly say this is his best roster, and I would not disagree with that. I don't know, there's not a Jaden Daniels or Malik Neighbors maybe on this roster, but I think top to bottom, it's got its chance to be the most complete roster. But like you were talking about, I think before I came on, offensive line is going to be crucial. I mean, if you can't run the ball and you can't protect your quarterback in Clemson, South Carolina, on a hot, sweaty night in front of a bunch of screaming people in orange, you're in trouble. So, this season opener is obviously a massive one. It's a tough spot. It kind of brings me back to the days of growing up on LSU football in the early 80s, the late 80s, early 90s, when you opened at Texas A&M and had to go to College Station in front of all those people. Then we kind of got away from that, where you were opening up with a UTEP or somebody at home to get yourself 1-0 and get you and dip your toe in the water. This is tough spot.
And when you talk about the spot, obviously Clemson, LSU losing every opener ever since 2019, it feels like, which I believe is the case. If you're talking to the LSU contingency, the LSU fan base, what sense of optimism do you think that they actually have? Because we talked about, it's only been positivity really coming from what you see from LSU, what they did with the roster. You see the kind of the chemistry that's been going on. And now but you still are staring down the barrel of an away game at Clemson. How much do you put stock into like the difficulty of that game versus it doesn't matter, you have to be able to go out and win game one?
Well, I think a lot of I've heard from a few fans at least in my neighborhood, who have said, we're not going to Clemson. We've been to Las Vegas. We've been to the Rose Bowl at the end of Coach O. We've been to Orlando. And we're tired of spending money and losing these first games. I have heard a lot of people say that they're going to make the trip to Nashville to go see LSU play Vanderbilt, because Nashville obviously is a wonderful city to go to, and have got a million things to do. And in the fall, I'm sure the weather will be fantastic as well. And so I do think, I think that Coach Kelly's media availability has gone down a little bit. The previous 3 years, I think he used to do a sit down with myself and Michael Caldwell and some of the others in the local media, like in May. We didn't get that opportunity this year. I did see I think he did something with the Advocate. I think he's done some other media availabilities, but we didn't do that this year. No problem. We'll see him on Monday. And then some of his press conferences late in last year, he got a little testy and made the comment, "We're taking receipts. We'll see you at the national championship," which I'm still not sure why he said that. But I think perhaps he is feeling, some pressure and or at least is hearing some chirping from the outside. I don't think, unless something unforeseen happens, I can't see LSU getting rid of Brian Kelly after his 4th year and going out and hiring another coach. Now, will the fans fire Brian Kelly if they don't make the playoffs? Yes, I think that they will. I think that the money that's being invested and whatnot in today's modern day college football, especially when you got 12 teams making the playoff, I think they expect to make that playoff. I think that is a very fair goal. But I have not heard as much. Yeah, we're going to the first game. Now, look, I think LSU only gets 3,000 to 5,000 tickets. This is not a Las Vegas setup where you have to stadium as LSU, half the stadium's USC. And the tickets LSU is getting for this game, I hear, are up by the moon, just like they were with Texas and Austin. So, and it's not all that easy to get to either, in terms of where you got to fly into and drive over and all that. And hotels, I know, can cost you $600 a night or more. So I think there is a wait and see approach. I think a lot more fans will be having parties at their house, watch parties, as opposed to, hey, let's go to Clemson, South Carolina.
You mentioned something, obviously, that Brian Kelly hasn't done as much media as he has done in the past, and I did want to ask you, what do you think his tenor will be at Media Day? Obviously, he knows he has to go in. He's going to be first. He has to go and face the media. What do you think his, attitude or kind of the tone of conversation will be from his perspective? Because you've seen you mentioned like I'm taking receipts in national championship. You've seen it kind of go both ways. It feels like he doesn't have any other room to pivot right now.
Yeah, I remember 2 years ago, he was entering his 2nd year and coming off a very strong debut, and the conversation that summer was, well, Kim Mulkey just won a national championship and Jay Johnson did, so are you going to win 1-2 in your 2nd year? And so that was kind of the conversation, and now I'm sure somebody will ask, hey, Jay Johnson just won a national championship with the baseball team again. Does that motivate you guys? So I'm sure somebody will bring that up. I think, a lot of people brought up the quote where he said, judge us in year 3.
Right.
And year 3 was the worst of the 3. You went 8-4 in the regular season. That was the most losses you had in the regular season. 8-4 will not cut it again this year. I think he'll get some questions about, pressure and wanting to perform and where are you as a program and this and that. I think he'll get a lot of questions about the season opener. And I think another thing that got brought up to me the other day was, last summer he said we're not going to pay for players, we're not buying players, and then that really kind of changed this year in terms of going out and getting the players that got in the portal. I understood what he meant the first time around. He was talking about he wanted people invested in the program, not just give somebody a bunch of money to come here and not care. I think that's what he meant. So, those are the things I think that will come up with Coach Kelly. But at the same time, the situation has not changed. He's got a 10-year contract that's 90% guaranteed, and if fans aren't happy and the administration isn't happy, he hasn't done a bad job, obviously. They're 29-11. I think overall he's 3-0 in bowl games, but we know bowl games just aren't what they used to be. 60. I keep bumping into fans. It's been the same contract from day one, but I keep bumping into fans that are now saying, well, why did they give him a 10-year contract? And why is it 90% guaranteed? It's now kind of hitting him in the face of the deal that was done. And I think back then, LSU had to get a coach to the podium. The Lincoln Riley thing didn't work out, whatever was going on there, and some other coaches, and they weren't interested in Billy Napier. I guess they thought that Lane Kiffin was too immature and wasn't ready to coach at Ole Miss. And coming off of some of the stuff with Ogeron, that wouldn't have, to hire his buddy and all that wouldn't have worked out. So they looked at this older, very accomplished coach and said, look, he's had a great career. The only thing that's missing is taking that next step to the national championship here in Louisiana. He can gather up all this talent from here in Texas and Alabama and Florida and compete. And so I'm just rambling along here, aren't I? But I just think that he'll just get a lot of questions about, hey, isn't it time for you guys to take the next step? I think that's just the overall theme. And we were talking about every year we do a WFB special, and what do we call the special for LSU? And, some lady at the gym the other day told me, it's time. And I said, wow, I think that's the name of our special this year.
Thank you.
To the point, it's time. And I think I'm rolling with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's very true. I do want to ask one more question on football, kind of away from Brian Kelly, more on the program aspect of Austin Thomas. Obviously, they make another addition to his staff as he brought Bolden over from Ole Miss to join him. Talk about what Austin Thomas has meant to the LSU football program since he's returned from Ole Miss.
Well, Brian Kelly brings him up a lot as somebody who is, very influential in shaping the roster. And, I kind of heard some whispers that, hey, if Ole Miss didn't win the championship or do anything significant last year, then they weren't going to moving forward in their future because Austin Thomas had come to LSU. He's always been a bit of an enigma. With some, it's like, what does he do? What exactly does Austin Thomas do? But he's the general manager and plays, such a major role in the roster. I think, he's a younger guy. He's got some Jay Johnson, it appears, in him, where he doesn't sleep and just really grinds and gets things done, and has to understand the modern day athlete in terms of the NIL and the portal and so forth. So I don't think he's done a ton of interviews. I remember Austin Thomas doing like one Zoom interview maybe during COVID when he was working for Coach O. But I think he's another one of those guys who I'm trying to remember when he left. I know exactly when he left. I was driving back from that god-awful Texas Bowl to close out 2021, and I think he put out he had been let go. So that was another guy, I guess, that Coach Kelly did not retain, along with your Corey Raymonds, your Blake Bakers, a lot of even some of the young women that worked in the Kiva Soil Cormier is back now from Baylor working in the NIL and everything. So, I think, I'm not slamming Coach Kelly, but, he came down here. Obviously, he looked at the situation. It was a mess and said, hey, we got a clean house and we got to, start something new. And I heard that from some fans too. Like, why did the fans keep saying, well, you got to carry over this guy and you got to carry over that guy? And, this guy's been here way too long, and this guy's been here way too long. It's time to wipe it all clean. And so I think he was trying to do that, but I'd like to do a sit down with Austin one day and kind of chat with him about his job and all the different things he does. But, obviously getting another staffer from Ole Miss, LSU's doing well in that regard.
Well, we appreciate your time and all the insight once again. Thank you for joining us for another Wednesday, and we'll speak again soon.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. There he is, Jacques Duceay from WFB9 Sports, the sports director over there. Crushed it once again. Great information. And I think he's 1,000% right on Austin Thomas. And it's not a correlation between the best roster LSU's had in Kelly's tenure and Austin Thomas returning right before that. It's more of a causation, in my opinion, where Austin Thomas returns, and all of a sudden, LSU has built their best roster. So we will. A
little frustrating. I didn't realize that he had also.
Yeah, no, I mean that was all. It was that. I mean, there was one person retained, and it was Brad Davis, which has ultimately been a good decision.
Well, yeah,
but there were a lot of guys that weren't retained.
What are Napoleon's up to?
Figure that out. But Chase Shazva in the chat, he cleaned the house, just not the correct house.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, the ship has been righted from that standpoint. But yeah, I mean, this is the deepest roster LSU has had, and I think a lot of that has to do with the return of Austin Thomas to this program and the job that he's done. And
so frustrating.
I think that the title of the special "It's Time" is the perfect title because it's.
Be careful who you talk to. Giving away ideas for free.
Yeah, no, but it's time. Like it is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is year 4, the worst season LSU had under Kelly last season when the expectations were high, and now the expectations are even higher with an even better roster. It is time. And speaking of that roster, we will be joined right after this break by Ahmad Bro, LSU's 2024 Defensive Freshman of the Year. Will be in studio talking about the offseason and looking ahead to 2025 and some of the expectations there. We'll take a quick break and be back with number 93, Ahmad Bro.
Oh.
Where's he at?
He is Brian Polian has a free Pro Football Hall of Fame coaching clinic. I guess you can call it a Hall of Fame coaching clinic because your dad's going to be there. But he is the keynote speaker for session number 1, Coaching and Teaching Gen Z. He's a grifter.
We'll take a quick break after this.
Unbelievable.
We'll be right back.
Don't keep him away from your kids.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Branding at Go Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the po' boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
When it comes to your home, the roof over your head matters. At CAS Roofing, we don't just install shingles, we build peace of mind. With years of experience and a commitment to craftsmanship, our team shows up on time, gets the job done right, and treats every project like it's our own home. Whether it's repair, a replacement, or storm damage that caught you off guard, CAS Roofing is ready. We're local, we're dependable, and we stand behind every nail, every shingle, and every promise we make. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about roofing, it's about protecting what matters most. CAS Roofing. Built on trust, backed by quality.
All right, welcome back here as baseball season has wrapped up and we have officially turned the page and shifted our focus to LSU football, and we're getting it started here in the offseason, getting ready for fall camp. We've got a very special guest, LSU's 2024 Defensive Freshman of the Year, member of the 2024 SEC Academic Honor Roll, a freshman standout last season, headed into his sophomore year here with the Tigers. Ahmad Bro joins us. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you making some time and getting in here. I know y'all are busy getting the work in the off season. I want to start it off just ask you about last year before we get into now and into the season. Kind of reflect back on your freshman season, the off season going into it. Obviously, a D end in high school, putting the weight on to play D tackle, and then getting in there early and getting some real good reps and playing so early on as a freshman. Kind of what you learned and everything like that.
Right. Yeah. Coming in, I was maybe like it says 255. I was like 235.
Right.
Coming in LSU. I naturally gained weight in the spring. I was thinking I was going to be a DN the upcoming season and everything, but apparently their plan the entire time was to move me inside at some point in my career. They just didn't know if I'd be okay with it or, it was too early or something like that. So after spring, it was looking like, I was finna get redshirted or like red shirt. And so I asked Coach Kelly, what y'all's planning with me, moving forward, position-wise, because everybody kept on cracking jokes, saying I was going to eat myself into a 3-tech. It was crazy, just eating myself into a 3-tech. So I seriously, even Jamari Roscoe, he's a D-line assistant. He kept on coming up to me saying, I ain't gonna lie, bro, you a 3-tech. I was like, nah. And then I was in the room with him 2 months later. But yeah, I asked Coach Hilton what his plan was, and then he said he talked to my coach from back home, Coach Kyle. Mm-hmm. He had a conversation, with the DC, Coach Baker, and he said, yeah, the entire time, the plan was to move me inside because they think that's where I fit best. Right. And I couldn't agree with him more. So I made the effort, you know, to gain the weight, you know, fit the phenotype, to play inside, and you know it was hard. Right. I ain't gonna lie, because I had a lot of work to do. I needed to get in like the 280-ish range, he said. So I took that up. Right. Gained 50 pounds.
Yeah. Which is not easy.
Not easy at all, bruh. Don't even.
Especially because it's the right 50 pounds. Like, you can put on 50 pounds, but not the right kind of 50 pounds. Not the right kind of 50 pounds. And yeah, that's what I had to really do, because I ate nothing but protein and carbs the entire summer. Yeah, like, it was crazy. And it kind of hurt.
Yeah.
It kind of hurt. But,
well, at some point, you just want to be like, bro, I'm done for the day. Like, no,
man,
one more.
Really, though. Like, some days I was just like, I ain't gonna lie, let me take a break from eating.
I was turning into a job.
It literally turned into a job. Like, it hurt to eat. Like, I never in my life like been hurt to eat. Like, it hurt, bruh. Like,
well, because people like look at it, they're like, "Oh, you get to gain 50 pounds, like eat whatever you want." It's like it's not like that.
It's not like that at all. Because I'm not naturally this heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like that takes a toll on your body. Yeah. But I did it the right way though. You know, I recovered the right way when I needed to and everything. And I didn't eat like the wrong stuff. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of that was muscle. I may have gained like maybe a percentage of body fat. You know, gaining all that weight. And then I was really starting to lean up and trim up, and you know, I'm looking better now. Yeah. So yeah. And then just kind of the experience you gained playing an entire season, playing an SEC schedule, and then getting the experience of Death Valley and that in your freshman season. Kind of what did that mean to you, and then how have you used that this offseason looking forward to your sophomore year? Man, I ain't gonna lie. This past season, it felt like a dream every game. Like growing up in Louisiana, you know what I'm saying? I've seen LSU football, but I personally never thought in my life I'd be a part of it. Right. So like getting to experience that and play teams that I would only see on TV growing up, like it was just crazy. Like it really did motivate me, and like it reminded me like what kind of position I'm in. Like I need to cherish all this. Right. So I took that all in. I ain't gonna lie. I love the Tigers to death. Bleed purple and gold after this past season, man. It was electric. And I'm just grateful I got the opportunity to be, you know, part of our team's, you know, journey. Right.
Well, that's such a big jump from going from I'm at redshirt, I don't know what position I'm going to play, to you played every game and you're like on the field with the brightest lights in Tiger Stadium, like playing in meaningful football games. That had to you had to flip it like that.
Nah, right. Like I was thinking about that after the Ole Miss game. I was like, what happened like it was literally the day after, and I was just sitting in my dorm. I was like, bro, I really just played in that game yesterday. And like 4 months ago, I didn't even know if I was gonna like
be wearing pads or not.
Be wearing pads or like being at the crib or something, like during travel games. Mm-hmm. Like it was a crazy like progression. But that's awesome. No, I mean that Ole Miss game, just for like it's something that's gonna live in my memory forever. I will never forget a moment of that game. Yeah, that's what I want.
That's what you put back on Sunday. Like, you're like, hey, run that thing back real quick.
Real talk. Yeah, real talk. I watched that entire game that Sunday. I was like, bro, that is crazy. What's the energy like? What's the feeling like when you're on the field? And like, I remember vividly like some of those plays the defense made, like Swinson making that play in the red zone, go down, and multiple plays the defense made, being on the field and feeling the crowd and hearing it, and you can just kind of feel it shake where you have that stadium pulse on your side. What's that feeling like? Man, I ain't gonna lie, like when you know that everybody in that stadium almost is rooting for you, like it doesn't get like, for me, it doesn't pressure me into anything. Like, it doesn't put any pressure on me. It actually like, and you can feel it with my other teammates too and everything that are on the field with me. Like, it pumps us up. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Gets us ready. Like, gets us fired up to go make a play, get a stop, whatever we need to do to get off the field and everything. See how that worked out. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely. Talk about the offseason a little bit, kind of for you personally. Like, what you've been focused on in your time after last season, and kind of what you feel like you've grown this offseason heading into your sophomore year. Right. Yeah. Like last year, I had that freshman, that freshman mindset. I was kind of like thinking too much. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like playing timid at times, but this offseason, I'm kind of loosened up. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing faster. I'm not thinking entirely too much, and it's benefiting me. Like I can play way faster, especially with the stuff that Coach Kyle is teaching us and how he's wanting us to play. Like I'm playing my fastest right now, and I'm just working on being more flexible and an athlete, and I've been working on my pass rush as well because that's something I needed to work on. I didn't know how to pass rush interiorly, last year that well. So, now it's been a priority this offseason. So I've definitely been getting better at that.
And for you personally, having Coach Kyle back, and not just obviously in high school he's your DC, but then now he's your position group coach with him every day. What was that like for you personally, and then how have you seen kind of the room grow with him as the new D-line coach?
Man, this experience, I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of like a fever dream, bro. Like I would have never expected they would have hired my high school coach. That's crazy. Like when I found out that he was coming, I called him immediately. I was like, yeah,
run it back.
Let's go. Let's run it back. I know how Coach Kyle is. Like back in high school, I swear, bro. He preached hustle, and that's not a bad thing at all. A team needs hustle. One day it was so bad, we were running pursuit drill, and one person wasn't going full speed, but we ran pursuit drill the entire practice almost. So he came here, he kind of changed our mindset towards how we pursue the ball and how we hustle and everything. So having that energy in the room, it shifts everybody in a different direction. A lead direction to where we're hunting after the ball at all times, and I miss with that.
What was it like, kind of the transition moment? Like, how many of the guys in the room with you started dialing your number up, calling you, texting you when they knew Kyle was coming here?
I ain't gonna lie, we really found out in the locker room all together. We was I was just looking at my phone
this Kyle was?
Bruh, yeah, after that, I mean, I told him how it was gonna be. I told him what they needed to do before he even got here. I was just be ready for it. So,
yeah. I mean, because he's an intense man. I mean,
intense coach, passionate.
Right. Well, to be, obviously he was an undersized guy at his position, and then to play in the league for a decade, you've got to have that intensity in that fight, and he brings it out coaching, obviously.
Not to, and he's a leader. He's a natural leader. I mean, if anybody's meant to be a coach, it's definitely him. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
And talk about the dynamic you've seen, because to me, him and Blake Baker are a match made in heaven. Perfect dynamic duo together. Talk about that relationship between them, and then Blake Baker and the defense as a whole.
And Coach Baker, he preaches pursuit just like Coach Kyle does. Pursue after the ball, relentless effort. And then he preaches game breaking. You know what I'm saying? Penetrating up the field.
Havoc.
Yeah, havoc. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And producing havoc is just what Coach Kyle always preached to me since I was a ninth grader.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why running this defense, and being in this defense, playing it is second nature to me because I did it for 4 years. So, I mean, it really is a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
You might have two coaches put the cleats on. I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Williams gets back out there and gets it. The defensive line.
Right, he mentioned it a couple times. Yeah, he was like, man, I can still play with y'all. I mess y'all up.
What's it like around y'all when you see Coach Baker with the cleats on, dropping down push-ups on the sideline, when he drops an interception, all those things?
Coach Baker is hilarious, bro. I swear, bro. It's crazy, man. It's good having a coach, man, that really loves the game as much as you do.
Right.
Man, it just makes you want to play for him even more. I love playing for him. Love playing for Coach Baker, man.
If you had to describe this defensive unit in 2025, because obviously the growth from your senior year in high school, 2023, to last season was immense. Even though it obviously last season the defense wasn't perfect yet, it still was a massive move in the right direction under Baker and with you guys. What's the word you would use to describe the defense this next and upcoming season?
I say lockdown. Yeah, lockdown. Everybody knows what they're doing now. It's the second year in, so everything's coming like second nature to us.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, you know, when you don't think as often or as much, you can play way faster. So the fact that, you know, everybody's, you know, getting in their groove with the playbook,
Yeah.
you know, that was mainly the problem last year. Like getting in the groove with the playbook this year, you know, that was a priority, and yeah, took it by storm, and man, we playing fast.
Yeah, and so that's y'all's mindset as a defense is fly around, fast, havoc, make plays happen.
Yup, make plays happen. That's all they want us to do, make plays.
Yeah.
And from your perspective, it has to feel so much easier after it felt like you're kind of like thrown into the storm a little bit. We were like playing the first, like a new position for the first time, like new body essentially, and then you have to go out there and play a defensive line against the SEC. Now it feels like you can kind of, I've done this before. Now I get to go just play football.
Yeah, I can really just take off now, man.
Yeah.
Like last year, man, I was like 17. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Man? Like the speed of the game was crazy. Like
you look up, it's the third quarter already. Like what happened?
Man, yeah. Like now it's like, man, it feels kind of like how I was playing in high school, man. Like everything is not as hard anymore. You know, I can see everything. The speed of the game is second nature to me, you know.
Yeah. And then the team as a whole, we were talking about it when you first got here, the energy that this team has. It feels different. Like just from looking at videos on social media, the content that comes out, whether it's weight room videos or it's Barryn Brown mic'd up on the sideline or Garrett Nussmeier saying his celebrity lookalike is Aaron Anderson. Just go down the list. The energy of this team feels different. Talk about that a little bit.
Man, this team, bro, I ain't gonna lie. This is probably the closest team I've ever been a part of besides my high school team.
Yeah.
You know, we all grew up together, but this team, yeah, it's different, especially from last year. You know, we way closer, you know, way more like in tune with each other, how each other act and everything. We really know each other now. Like we roll places together, everything. Like feels like a brotherhood for real.
That's what I was about to ask. What do you feel like is a part of the reason why y'all are so tight?
I think it's because we all got the same goal on the team. I think it's been established, like, you know, if you don't want to be a part of it, I mean, you can't be with us. And I think everybody got the same mindset, like, you know, so having that, you know, what a brotherhood is like, you know, everybody with a common interest. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's on the same page. We're going to get close, and we did. So.
Yeah, and I'll lob up a little softball question for you. What is that goal, that mindset, that hope that y'all have?
Man, we're going to take it home.
Yeah.
That's our mindset. So.
Yeah, I mean, because that's got to be the expectation when you bring in, 18 or however many transfers they did. You know, you guys, that's the first concern is how are they going to mesh? How's the chemistry going to work with these new guys, especially on the defensive side of the ball? Y'all, like, there could be a time y'all are on the field, like, there could be 8 guys on the field together that weren't wearing purple and gold last year.
Right.
But they've come in, they've meshed well. It seems like it was a very easy transition. Guys like Patrick Payton and Jack Pyburn and go down the list.
Dogs.
What's that has to come from that similar mindset, right? Everybody's here for the same goal.
Definitely, yeah, man. It just made us far closer. I love it.
That's awesome. And then
Pyburn looks like he's straight out of an '80s movie, dude. He looks like he got the mullet. He just looks like
got the mullet, man.
Yeah, like the personality to go with it. It's like, where did you find this cat,
bro? Like every time I see him, I just think lift weights. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my dog, though, man. Like I'm actually on this pack team. Like we have like little teams and everything. Yeah. Like, you know, with point systems and all that. Like, yeah, I'm on this team, but that's my dog, man. I love Jack, man.
But that's what's crazy to me is you have guys like Pyburn, guys that came in that are like where transfer portal gets, and you talked about a brotherhood and how it takes time. These guys come in and step in immediately, and then they're the leaders of the pack team.
Yeah. Like I mean, he earned it though. He was very vocal from the start, man. Established his leadership from the start, man. He good.
Talk about some of those transfer guys that have come in on the defensive side of the ball. Pyburn, Payton, Butler, Mitchell, go down the list. Just some of those guys that have been added and meshed so well.
Right. Yeah. Like, man, going back to Jack Pyburn, man, he's like freakishly strong. You know what I'm saying? He's gotten faster since he got here. Like, yeah, just freak athlete. Pat Payton, bendy. You know what I'm saying? Athletic, just all around great athlete. Same with Jamar Butler.
Yeah.
You know, Sadir, big, strong force. You know what I mean? Who else? Be Gooding.
Yeah.
They're just quick, relentless. Like his effort in the game and how much he loves the game is really what stands out about him the most. I say like I respect him so much because he loves the game so much. And yeah, that's
Mansour Delane.
Yeah, he's really smart.
Yeah.
He's really smart, man. I feel like he locked down, in my opinion. Tamarcus Cooley, same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Quick, agile, smart. You know what I'm saying? Understands things quickly. So, yeah.
What are y'all's expectations for 2025? Like when you sit down and you look at it.
Bro, it's week 1 right now.
What's the expectation? What's the feeling?
And the feeling, what I'm feeling like right now is, I mean, we can take it all the way if we do everything right.
Right.
That's what I feel like. You know what I'm saying? We do everything right. There's no doubt in my mind that we can go to the big stage and do it. But we got to take it 1 week at a time.
Right.
So, yeah. Let's start with week 1. That's us.
Yeah.
So.
And then it just kind of what's the schedule like right now? Y'all working out, doing some football stuff, and then fall camp in about a month.
Yeah.
What's your mindset going into fall camp?
Mindset going into fall camp, man, just do me every day. You know, get better every day and love the game. Don't think about the heat.
Right.
Even though it's almost impossible not think about the heat, but like I'm saying, don't worry about the outside factors. Worry about getting better every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Loving the game that you're playing and being blessed to be there.
Yeah. Well, make sure you take care of the transfers when they get accustomed to that heat.
Man,
quickly.
Jack and Pat, I mean, they should be used to it. I mean, they play ball in Florida, so I make sure to tell the other ones though. I mean, they got a taste of it in the spring, but that wasn't the entire equation though. It's gonna be like 110 degrees outside when fall camp comes around.
Yeah, well, I think it was Prince doing like the before the workout and after the workout like a couple weeks ago, and you could see like some of the transfer guys like, oh my god. Was that after the Death Valley workout?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we worked out in there, and like I don't know what it was this time. We did it last year, but like this time, like you couldn't breathe. Like it was like humid because I guess like all that moisture is like just sitting in this bowl and like it just collects. So like I walked out there, I was like, oh my god. What's going on, bro?
That's why
you see the Louisiana Cats do it. They're like, oh god.
That's why they passed that law. Only night games in Death Valley in September.
It wasn't even hot outside. It was just sticky. Like I just walked out there like I was already like sweating. I was like, I'm not even doing anything.
One last question I've got. Obviously, you were one of the breakout freshmen last season. Who are some of the guys that have caught your eye? Some of the incoming guys, the freshmen, offensively or defensively, that kind of caught your eye so far?
Right, man. Teron Francis. That boy a freak athlete, bro.
Man child.
Yeah, he gonna be. I'm telling you, by the time it's all said and done, he gonna be like one of the next best LSU wide receivers. And who else? DJ Pickett. Yeah, he's gonna be another great.
Yeah.
Here. Who else incoming? That's really caught my eye. I'm not gonna lie, that's probably it for right now. That's probably it for right now, but.
Well, that's how this team's built. Not to like you need to sprinkle a couple of freshmen, like the way that everybody that came back, you got in the portal. Like, there's not that many spots for people to be able to claim. But you name two guys like Pickett, who comes in. Obviously, Corey Raymond, the way that he recruits it, you go and find a number one corner in the country come in. Like you expect him to kind of catch your eye a little bit.
Oh, most definitely. Like I ain't gonna lie. Like what people fail to realize, if you're a freshman playing, like in this era of college football, like you doing almost everything right. You gotta be. Because like it's so hard to play with transfers or even get recruited with the transfer portal and everything. So
well, that's credit to you. I mean, you got out there early on, did the work, got out there as a freshman, and excited to watch you play as a sophomore, man. Excited for 2025.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time, joining us, and we'll talk again soon.
Most definitely.
All right, we'll be right back after this. Welcome back here. It is live, Biggest, we promise. LSU football does their workouts.
Got your bitch ass.
LSU does their workouts in the morning. So we had Ahmad come by yesterday during the middle of the day, recorded it, knocked it out. He crushed it. That was a great interview. Good stuff from Ahmad. We appreciate him. We wanted to see if we could pull a fast one on you guys. And you fell for it, Biggest. We got you.
Biggest, don't try to flip this around and say, so wait, you're wearing dirty clothes. Like, we wore them for 30 minutes.
I put this shirt on for 30 minutes yesterday to do the interview. And then I made sure I folded it up nicely, sat it on my dresser, and said, tomorrow morning, got to put this thing back on.
That's the difference between you and I. know I slept in this shirt. You know, the one way I can guarantee I wear it again is never take it off.
Fair enough. Biggest, I got tricked by Lloyd. I'm going to clone myself for sure. But yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely, the quality was not the best, but we're going to workshop that. We'll have that better for in the future. We appreciate you guys sticking around with us.
I recorded it. I streamed it. I streamed it, and then I streamed the stream too. So I don't know why I gave myself 3 options.
It's all right. It will get put out as a standalone, and I think that'll fix the audio. Because I think the audio was because it was recording, played, and on live. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know what the audio is from the board. This board playing that much audio through this pot.
Yeah.
Like it's the recording coming through this. But that's okay.
So it'll get posted as a standalone, and we will do a quick athletic connections here to close out this morning. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us once again on this beautiful Wednesday morning. What are you about to give them a?
Well, I'm just gonna. Oh God, this is so perverted. It's weird. I feel like I'm at like the Batman.
Wait, flip it. I want to see. I want to see. Give everybody the breakdown. Don't steal our setup, guys.
Oh, just saying, all of that audio is coming through that one wire back there.
Yeah.
You know, I got the scars. Oh, it's the Batman.
That was frightening. But, yeah, we're going to connect athletically here, and we'll close it out here on this Wednesday morning. If you want to rewatch Ahmad's interview with some better audio, it'll be posted on the YouTube channel probably about 10 a.m. It'll come out this morning with you can listen to all of his answers, his preview of 2025, discussing the offseason. He was great yesterday. We appreciated him coming in. The first thing he said when I went and greeted him outside was, I was like, well, how's the offseason going? He was like, oh, it's great, man. This is the closest team I've ever been a part of. And I was like, I almost like fainted on the spot. I was like, don't say that to me.
It feels good to feel right about something.
Don't say that to me right now. But, yeah, no, it was awesome. He's great. Excited to watch him play for LSU this year. His sophomore season, obviously. Impressed his freshman year.
I think he's going to dominate.
Yeah, I mean, as impressive of a freshman year as he made switching positions and finding a way to be very effective. Now he's got a full offseason at one position, learning the ins and outs of it and looking at the experience he gained from last year. I'm excited to watch Ahmad play.
Yeah, I mean, he talked about it in the interview. He's like, I just feel so much faster now.
Yes.
Like the game was moving faster than he was able to process it, and he still was phenomenal. He's probably one of the better stories of the season. Because if you don't have Ahmad Bro, you don't have really interior defensive line. He played in every game and racked up almost 20 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, sack.
The way we're talking about the offensive line this offseason, kind of, not really the same, because you have depth and pieces. That's how we were talking about defensive line last year, especially the interior. Like, end of the year, it was, who's going to play deep tackle? You swung and missed on all of these.
You didn't even swing.
Transfer portal guys. Yeah, I mean, you tried to lay down a bunt when it was a home run derby on these transfer portal D linemen, and you got 2 of them. You had Gio Paez, who ended up being an answered prayer, was excellent all year. And then guys like Don McKinley, Ahmad Bro, obviously Jacoby ended up going down with the injury, but Ahmad, I mean, like, massive role last year, answering questions.
And who was the other transfer? Because he was great too.
Why can't I think of his name?
I don't know.
The one it was from a smaller school, ended up transferring to out last year as well. I can't think of where he was. He was like a pass rush specialist. He'd come into the game and get a TFL every time. Played great against UCLA. I cannot think of his name.
JVR Suggs.
JVR Suggs, yes. Another guy that came in, stepped up, made it happen. But Gio Paez, legend. and Dom McKinley, Jacoby and Guillory, Ahmad Bro had a huge role last year, and I'm excited. I'm so excited to watch what they do this year on the interior of that defensive line.
All right, let's connect athletically.
Let's connect athletically for a minute here before we close it out, as it is past 9 a.m. How about that? You're welcome, guys.
Thank you, Begas.
Thank you, Begas. You did get tricked, though. Never let you forget it. Kevin Durant, Kevin Garnett.
Kevin's?
Yep, Kevin's. Kevin Love, Kevin McHale. Basketball Kevins.
Kevin Bench. Kevin Durant. Kevin Lever.
Lever, I would think, would go with
Fat Lever.
Fat Lever was the first thing that popped into my head. And that's like I was thinking basketball players like, oh, Fat Lever. No. I have a problem.
Yeah. Cream. Sub. Fun. Twist.
Let's see. Handspring. And then what else is one? Round off, handspring.
Salto.
Yeah, this is all like and then twist.
I don't know.
Is it gymnastics? I don't know.
Well,
let's see.
Sub, replace, pull, bench.
There you go.
All things that have never happened. That's not true.
Rings, handspring, round off. Maybe.
Cream? What is cream?
I don't know.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
See what the chat's saying.
Yeah.
We actually used the chat this time. Let's see.
Pull, bench, sub, replace.
Cream, clone, pull, twist, cream, clone.
Biggest, we were on the same page. Gymnastic stuff. Round off for sure. Handspring.
Yep.
Rings. What is a salto? It's that or twist.
I don't know what salto is. Twist. Vaughn says twist, so let's try twist. Nope, not twist. Okay.
Oh no.
So it's lever. Rings, lever, round off, handspring.
Oh God, we've really done this to ourselves here.
Stop, everybody, breathe. Everybody calm down for a moment.
Okay. We don't have the Canadian excuse.
No, we don't.
Cream. What is fun? Fun. And fun. And cream. And spring. And salto.
Like, this is really throwing me off.
I know.
the
Hold on. I mean, everybody's just guessing. Nobody knows. This is not helping. Come on, guys. Can I keep our composure? Should we call Justin?
No.
Call Dardar and be like, look at what you've done.
Look what you're doing to us. Rings feels like gymnastics, right?
Diving.
I don't know anything about diving.
I do need kinfolk.
Where's Jonathan?
He's on the way.
Is he actually?
Yeah, he's gonna be here tomorrow.
Nice.
Rings. Vegas, that doesn't help.
What's he saying?
What the fuck is it?
Okay, salto is a gymnastics move. My old lady does it. Congrats.
Yeah. What?
Are you about to Google it?
Yeah.
Yes, Hunter, don't say anything because you can't wait for us. You
Whoa.
Okay, so salto, round off, handspring, and a twist. It wasn't rings. Rings was the one we were off on.
Salto, round off,
handspring,
twist.
There it is. Okay. Cream. Okay, what is this?
Hand cream, hand lever, hand rings, hand fun.
No, that's wrong.
Foot cream.
Foot fun.
What does this have to do with anything?
Ice cream.
Ice lever, ice rings,
No.
ice fun.
Championship rings.
Championship cream.
There's so many ways this could go. Just submit it so we can see what it is.
Oh.
There's no way. The sun.
Oh.
Are you?
Is that where I was going? Oh my god.
Those are such a stretch, man. Like the sun, the fever, the dream, and the.
There's some WNBA tweets out right now that are
They're just
that are
stop,
bangers.
Stop, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Stop. Stop.
I've never laughed harder.
Stop.
Which that's
Stop. You need to stop speaking right now. Before. Should we do one more game?
No, we'll save it for tomorrow. I mean, we can't, we
Yeah.
don't know what tomorrow brings.
I guess that's true. We could do a Wordle.
Let me do a Wordle. Because that'll change.
Yeah, it will be a new one tomorrow. Stop, Hunter. Do not encourage him.
What are you?
I feel like a parent.
That's what I was talking about.
Do not encourage your brother.
I'm not touching you.
Go to your room.
Yeah. What do you think I'm going to do? Your door open.
Taking your door off the hinges. Ew.
Let's see what we have for Wordle. Play. How to play a game.
Lord have mercy. Guys, what should I title the YouTube video of the Ahmad Bro interview? Let's see.
Quality.
All right. Wordle. What should we start with? No, to finish the word. I guess, yeah. Might as well.
Oh,
Okay, so an
it
E.
has an E in it. Oh, there's no R.
There's no M either. I was going to say empty. T-E or T-H-E. Okay. All right.
That was a good guess. That was a fun one.
It was. What about?
Obviously, the E doesn't go there. We should have thought about that.
Yeah. What about P-E?
P, physical education.
Uh-huh.
Michael Pennick. Michael Penix.
You need help, you know that? What about you are? Oh my god. Dude, so let's go. E isn't at the end, so it's one of the first. It's gotta be the, no, it's not there. It's not there.
There's no T.
And there's no E right there.
Oh, yes.
The E goes either in the first or the second to last. What's the chat saying?
Mm-hmm. No, C. Verse.
No.
No E at the end.
And no E right there.
Yep. And no R. So really just kind of the worst guess you could have made. Oh, there's no T.
No T. That was a good guess, though. Value.
I thought about that. No E at the end.
And there's no A.
No E at the end. That was the solve.
The E, is it, put the E first. Put the E first.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now let's think.
There's no A.
I was going to say evade.
No E at the end.
And there's no A either. Begus says Covey. Oh, Kimberly says level. Try level. I like level.
I feel like level we've had before.
Okay. Okay.
Bevel.
Okay. No, there's no E.
No
right
E.
there.
We knew that too.
But at least we got somewhere with it. Naval?
Yep.
Fonz said naval.
Fuzzy navel. Oh. Novel.
Novel.
On the last guess. Yes. Anytime you can work perv in there.
We'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 7 to 9.
Kimberly, level. No, don't do level.
No, stop. Don't do that.
Deletes the message. Appreciate you.
Yes, appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9.
The novel, yes. Good job, boys. Good
See
job,
you then.
Kimberly. Good job, everyone.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Ahmad Bro.
Thank you, Ahmad
The
Bro.
quality will be better on YouTube, so go watch it again.
Go watch it again. And send it to all your friends.
Thank you, Jacques.
Thank you, JD. What Rob sent, it feels like Jacques is just fulfilling a contract with his spots on the show. Now, there is no contract. So, there you go.
You think we got Jacques money?
I wish we could. Yeah, I wish we had money to pay Jacques. We don't have that money. Jacques is coming to talk to us. He likes us.
Who said that? Where?
The chemistry between, or he who should remain nameless. The chemistry between Jordy and Jacques was because they could both talk about the 80s.
They're the same age.
Yeah.
We are
a little different here. But
yeah,
it would be nice if JD was here in person. I do miss having him in person. That was more fun. But
yeah, but because we'd always the tickle fights after they're on the breaks. Mic'd up 6 to 8 tonight.
Yeah.